Hello viewers, this is Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot. I wanted to get on today and read because there's just been so many things coming forward, so much breaking news. I've actually had to write them down. I've had to write a list down of the questions that we'll be asking today. So we're going to proceed through them fairly quickly. I just want to say that, yesterday I did spend some time, not a lot of time, but some time, because I was actually quite busy yesterday. I think I was doing back-to-back readings, and also had some other, I call it my mainstream work to do. And so I didn't have a lot of time, but when I did, sitting down over a sandwich or last night, I tuned into Barr's testimony again, and some of the reactions to it. I have to say that it's widespread right across the board from both sides of the aisle, the disappointment in the way Barr behaved in Congress, and also disbelief that someone who was reasonably, the scholar of the law, even putting aside his Iran-Contra affair past, even putting aside all of that, his behaviour yesterday was pretty much like Attorney General Trump sitting in Congress, the kind of behaviour you would expect from Donald Trump. And so why he would do that is just, surely he would know that playing those sort of games, those sort of partisan games, the kinds of things that, inflammatory language, would not endear support. The commentary I was looking at was, from senior, people in the Republican Party who have been disenfranchised or disappointed in the way that the Republican Party has gone. We're talking about, again, disbelief and disappointment that Barr would actually do that. So that's pretty widespread. Sitting here in Australia, if we had our Attorney General behaving like that in Parliament, in one of our parliamentary committees during a hearing, it would really be absolutely, front page news, and I guess the pressure would be so great on the government that the Attorney General would have to, come up with a pretty good reason as to why they were behaving like that. So it shows the effect that Trump has had on the political norms in America amongst a certain demographic, not amongst everybody. So we'll look at Barr and his behaviour. We'll also look at what's behind his spying. His intention to investigate the FBI and others for supposedly spying on the campaign. I looked quickly at what James Comey had to say on that. He's actually just saying, what the heck, I don't know what he's talking about. He's also expressing disappointment and disbelief that Barr behaved in that way. He's also asking for us to give Bill Barr the presumption of innocence, which I found quite an odd comment. Assange taken away from the embassy in handcuffs, will be extradited to the US. He's an Australian citizen, or was an Australian, I think he still is an Australian citizen. And, I guess the pressure will now, we're in the middle of not in the middle, we're at the start of an election campaign. I guess here we'll be looking at why the coalition government, the incumbent government at the moment, isn't going to be doing more in relation to Assange. I want to know, will he be instrumental in taking this collusion conspiracy aspect further? I want to look at... are we going to be getting more information on the Mueller report before the end of April, including, I'm just going to ignore that phone call, including any new indictments? Now, we understand that, I think it was in the last 24 hours, we had a Democratic lawyer who actually was working with Paul Manafort indicted as a result of the Mueller investigation. So I guess the spin that there would be no further indictments, etc., is not kind of right, is it? Because there is another indictment. So what can we expect before the end of April? Really, anything can happen. And finally, I want to look at, we know that the DC office U.S. Attorney's Office brought forward that indictment in relation to that Democratic lawyer. So now we've got DC in the picture as well as SDNY. I want to look at the independence of those. Are they safe? Are those investigations safe given we've got this extraordinary behaviour from Bill Barr? So let's get started. I'll have a sip of my chamomile tea and we'll get started. By the way, I did read on Biden and I actually, on Bernie Sanders and Biden a couple of days ago, and I actually lost the reading. I deleted it and I thought, oh, well, that's gone. I was able to actually find it in my bin before I'd emptied it. So I will post it. It's around what's come forward quickly in that reading, just before we start this reading. Bernie Sanders' taxes have come forward down the track. Well, I won't give away the reading. And because of the cards that Bernie was drawing, I thought it was only fair I'd look at Biden and the, I guess, the allegations or some of the negative publicity that he's facing at the moment as well. So there's two readings there. Quite interesting what the energies that the cards were picking up. But bear in mind, this is 2 days old. But I thought I'll post it for your interest anyway. I do intend to look at I'm getting a real strong pull on the younger Democratic candidates now. And we'll look at some of those in the next week or two. So let's have a look at, we'll go back to Barr, Mueller, Trump. By the way, Trump is looking pretty befuddled, beyond stressed, burnout territory. Barr, let's start with Barr. Disbelief that someone like that could behave like Attorney General Trump, because that's what he was. He was just like Trump. So why is Barr behaving like that? Why is William Barr behaving like that? The energies are, as I said, disbelief, disappointment. We know that he's capable of covering for his party and for a Republican president. We already know that. But he was behaving in a similar way to what Trump is doing. Is it just that he's in Trump's orbit now? What is it? What's making him behave? I saw him hesitate before he used the word spying, and he did a mental double take. He knew what he was doing. He knew, he checked himself. He thought, this is inflammatory language. This is going to be controversial. I will say this. He made a deliberate decision to use that language. Why? And he knows that it's not right. That's the thing. Okay, or when I say not right, not kosher, it's breaking a norm. Again, it's the sort of thing that Trump does. Why is he behaving in this way? Why is Bill Barr conducting himself in this way? Why is Bill Barr acting in this way? What are the conditions around this? What do we need to know? All right, I'm going to bring the laptop down and we'll let the cards do the talking. But straight off the bat, we've got the Two of Swords. This is showing that there are multiple forces on, really weighty multiple forces on Barr's back at the moment. It's also a crossroads card where he has to make a compromise. So he's compromised himself, okay? So that's due to the pressures that are coming from him, I guess, from the Republican Party and I guess from Donald Trump himself. So this is a decision. This is a decision. Remember, he deliberately used that word, spying, language. This is a decision and a compromise here. Now, he's being challenged by really the isolation. This is the lack of support. Okay, so he knows what he's doing. Barr knows exactly how he's behaving. But this is showing that his behaviour will not be tolerated because there's not widespread support amongst his peers. He's being judged by his peers, and we're hearing that all the way through. Now, the foundation of the reading is he's trying to give Trump a new start, okay? So he's trying to stem the fallout from the Mueller report. This is a political battle that he is facing. So what we saw yesterday was not Barr the lawyer, not Barr the legal the man of legal, lots of, extensive legal experience. This is Barr the politician. What we saw yesterday was Barr the politician. He has stepped in now, crossed the line, and he's actually trying to give, in some way, give Trump some kind of new start following the Mueller probe. Now, this again, I see this in some ways this is in the past position. This is his family. This is Republicans. It's the Republican family as well. So it's not just protection of Trump. There's been a wholesale decision here amongst Republicans to fight for the Trump presidency, because it's really all about, for them, a fight for power, to stay in power. We've got the Wheel of Fortune coming forward here. This is a karmic card. It suggests that something is going to change, something is going to turn. I do feel that, I've always felt that April, May are going to be critical months. I feel that there is going to be something else coming out. I've just got this feeling that there is something in the background there, perhaps connected with the way that Mueller's set things up, perhaps in relation to those other investigations. We know DC, we know the Judge Beryl Howe oversighting the Mueller grand jury. Has said that they're still working. We know the SDNY is continuing with their investigations. It's almost like I just want to quickly mention this. I want to get through all these questions, but when Mueller, my impressions were he was nudged to finish up a little bit earlier than what he thought. I felt that he would have wanted to go through till, at least see things through a little bit more, possibly 2, 3, 4 months. But anyway. I do feel that we think that it was all over. Mueller's handed down his report, but the impression I'm getting now is the Mueller investigation is ongoing. So it's interesting. It's almost like the law enforcement, the courts are really stepping outside the political process and just continuing to do their work. Now, in the immediate future for Barr, okay, so the Wheel of Fortune suggesting something is going to change for him, and then in the immediate future is loss. He's going to lose in some way. Now, one of my viewers sent me a link to show that any counterintelligence investigations must in their full entirety. Barr has, under a number of acts and law, by law, has to bring those investigations to the House Intelligence Committee. That would be Adam Schiff's committee. So there are there's ample reason now why Barr is going to lose this fight. Now, he would know all this, which again is it's just not sitting with me that he would know all this. He can't hold things back, but I do feel he is trying to. And even though he knows that eventually things will be made, certainly to Congress, made available to them, I feel he's buying Trump some time, again, to win the hearts and minds of the Trump support, the Republican base, cast enough, fling enough mud on these investigations, i.e. the spying investigation. We're hearing language now again, witch hunt. I saw a couple of interviews, doorstop interviews with Lindsey Graham. Oh dear, I can't watch him actually. He's the energy coming from him is really quite unpleasant. And that Kennedy fellow, the Republican, who speaks with the Southern drawl, they're just they're just ramping up the gaslighting, basically. This is just around a political, not just, but it is a political fight. Look what's coming up for Barr at the moment. Okay, so he and his ego would be taking a tumble, as just about every law expert or lawyer or former prosecutor around the country is going, shock, horror, how can Barr be like Attorney General Trump in the Congress? How can he speak and act like Trump? This is where Barr is at the moment. In fact, if you look at him, he's looking pretty sketchy, as my children say. Now, the environment around Barr. Okay, the general I guess, mood of the country is one of hope. So it's almost like you've got this race, you've got the intentions and hope and faith, and this is the faith, keeping thoughts positive, not being beaten, okay, not being downtrodden, even though the battle looks like it's getting hard. Sometimes you cop a few losses. This is actually surging ahead. And Barr is like this. So take a good look at him, folks, because he's not looking real good. Hopes and fears. This is hard work for him. Real hard work, what he's trying to push the proverbial up the hill here. Again, the law is not on William Barr's side. Okay. And the final outcome, we've got the Ten of Pentacles. This is the Trump dynastic wealth here. This is the Trump organisation. He's fighting for, whether he knows it or not, whether he's fighting for the Republicans, he's also fighting for Trump the businessman. Interesting as well. I'm not going to wade into... Barr, this card could also suggest that Barr is fighting for his family dynasty as well. It's a card of obstacles, challenges, again to this kind of family wealth, etc. This is a little bit there's an ambiguity here. Disappointment. He's not going to be able to protect. Okay, yeah, I'm with it. He's not going to be able to protect Trump and Trump's money, because that's where Trump is motivated from. He's not motivated by trying to protect the office of the president or etc., etc. This is all about Trump's money. It's also about the moneyed elite, this dynastic wealth, the GOP donors, the foundation of the modern day Republican Party, potentially some of the Democrats as well, although that, things are getting weeded out. We had that law which Mitch McConnell, the bill which Mitch McConnell blocked around the Democrats trying to clean up politics. So this is the Republican Party that Barr is fighting for. But, why I'm getting thrown a bit is because the Republican Party and Bill Barr are one in the same. The values are the same. The fight is the same. Looks like he's going to be disappointed in some way. Okay. Now we know that as I said, there is ample law there for the information to come forward. He's fighting a losing battle. The race is overtaking him. But I don't mean to make light of this. It's quite worrying, as I said, if we had our Attorney General sit there and behave like him, try and cover for a Prime Minister who hasn't been exonerated from obstruction of justice, and there are question marks over collusion, conspiracy, and he's already broken campaign donations or campaign, he's violated those campaign laws with the Stormy Daniels affair. And then under how many investigations did we go through the other day? 17. I reckon we'd be driving our tractors to the Parliament House, and we'd be probably trying to bulldoze the Parliament. Okay. If it gets much worse, I would expect a return to just before Trump got elected, and some of those protests, those huge marches. All right, but it's been 2 years and people are weary. So All right, so it's interesting, that card of hope there surging forward. I feel the battle's gone to a different level, so you don't need to drive tractors through your Congress. You've actually already done that kind of work in the past. What it is showing is that the momentum and the will, it is around the will, is so strong that it has overtaken people like William Barr. So, I thought James Comey was quite generous in saying that Barr is entitled to presumption of innocence. All right, because it's bothering me still, and I know we've got a lot to read through, I might just do a part 1 and a part 2 here. Let's just see, is there anything redeeming about Bill Barr's actions at all? Should it? No. Because I don't think there is. Is he entitled to presumption of innocence? Is he entitled to a presumption of innocence? Is William Barr entitled to a presumption of innocence? When I say he hasn't broken the law, but it's around his behaviour. Okay, so is Barr entitled to a presumption here that he's not Attorney General Trump? Okay, yes, no, spirit. Okay, so we've got okay, just picking up on my intuition earlier this morning. Yesterday, I felt Barr was being vindictive when he came before Congress. I feel that when he released his summary, he thought he was doing the right thing. He the force of the public condemnation of him is actually spurring some of his actions at the moment. This is the Five of Pentacles. This is almost like a victim card here. Sometimes it's a victim card, and when I look at it, it's just, that's it. He's being vindictive. The King of Swords, he's using his legal power, really, again. He's got, what did Nancy Pelosi say? He's gone off the rails. We've got an Attorney General that's gone off the rails. It's indicating also that there is some kind of secret, something hidden here to what he's trying to do. This is the High Priestess, she's a third of the way through the book. There's still much left to be read and written, which means that we could expect more I was going to say obstruction. It's not, I'm not using that in the legal term. Throwing up those smoke screens. It's showing me he's very inspired to do that as a result of, we see Trump being backed into a corner and gaslighting. It's the same kind of thing. So that there's going to be some kind of offer here. Remember, I drew that Four of Cups, which showed disappointment, but there's still a small offer coming forward. And this is my Russia card. So, every time I read on Barr, there's always a question that's thrown up. It's like we've got it. And this is why his energy in his nomination hearing was so difficult to pinpoint. He presented like a double agent. And he's presenting in this reading as well like a double agent. Secrets, and my card for Russia. Yet he's presenting very clearly as vindictive and someone who's, So maybe he's all these things. Maybe that's why we can't get a clear picture. He's not our friend, put it that way. He's a Republican Attorney General, and his behaviour in Congress was appalling for, my impressions as a citizen, not a citizen, as a viewer watching on, was his behaviour was absolutely out of left field. But yeah, the energies here are quite odd. I think, at the end of the day, we have to read Barr on face value. We've got people, saying presumption, give him the presumption that, Okay, I'm just going to put all that aside, and I'm going to read him at face value what he's doing to try and give the president. So we know he's doing a lot of things. Let's just put it like that. The part that we're concerned about is trying to hide the Mueller report. That he is doing. All right. So now his intention with the FBI investigation. It could be, I did use that phrase with Barr. I'm sorry, I can't leave it alone. He plays both ends against the middle. That could be why his energy is so hard to read. And if he is playing both ends of the middle, so hedging his bets, so he'll say, well, this was a volatile situation. I had a president who was going off the rails and then I had this and I had that. The other possibility is that he's in some way Russia, secrets to be revealed. Isn't it? We always presume the higher ground, don't we? There could be other possibilities. Let's just put it like that. There could be multiple possibilities. But I'm going to get on now because the main thing I'm concerned about is his smoke screening and trying to hold back and delay the Mueller report to give Trump a political victory. Okay, now. Nothing in this reading suggests Bill Barr has broken the law. Let me just make that clear. All right, what is his intention in talking about, launching this investigation into FBI spying on Trump? He's trying to please Trump. He's trying to give Trump a win. He's trying to deflect. It's just this partisan stuff. It's just this. There's so much of what we see with the Republican Party. He's just behaving like a Republican, okay? He's behaving like Trump. What is behind all of this FBI spying investigation? All right, so it's the orator coming out in him, again speaking, hoping for attention. He's challenged by, again, Republicans. This is new beginnings, so wanting to hold on to power, keep power in the Republican hands. He's playing a political game. The Hierophant, he's using his government position. This is why shock horror, can an Attorney General do this? Why is he behaving like that? He's using his position to play a political game. In the past, we've got new starts here. This is him. He was given a high-profile job, the most powerful lawmaker, I guess, or lawman, or however you will call it, head of the Department of Justice. He was given that. That meant a lot to him. He really got involved in the power of that position. What's hanging over all of this is this again is the one of my cards for the Republican Party. It's mum, dad, and it's the nuclear. Is that what you call it? Nuclear family. The white middle class, upper class kind of middle class traditional type family. Again, wanting to give Trump a win here. New starts, holding on to power. Him at the moment, victim, feeling, like he would probably be appalled at the reaction to his turn of phrase from all of those legal scholars and former attorneys and former deputy assistant attorney generals and etc. etc. He's feeling it. He's feeling it. The environment around him, this is again just trying to, throw something Trump's way. This is trying to deflect from Mueller. This is a political game that he is playing. His hopes and fears. Here's our card again. I shuffled the hell out of these cards, I should say, and these cards come in the hope and the fear again. Hope. The hope is hope, faith. And the fear, this is what he fears, the momentum of the will of the people. Battle weary, he's not going to succeed. All right, let's move on to Assange. This is the interesting one here. Well, for me, because he was years ago, long time ago. I thought reasonably well of WikiLeaks back in the day. when they were a whistleblower in the truest sense of the word, uncovering information governments, big business wanted hidden. That time is long gone. Assange is a he is like a, I won't say he's a criminal, but because he's not been tried yet, it's not been before the courts, but he has to be seen in that light. Espionage, not espionage, spying, I guess. There are. He's turned. What I'm trying to say is he's traded off that original position as a whistleblower, and you'll see people trying to defend Assange for that when they remember back in the day. Terribly sorry. You need to get with the times and get with the picture. Assange is actually broken the law. Okay, and not for good intentions. The fact that we had Putin come out and advocate for Julian Assange's human rights, for God's sakes. The murderer, Putin, advocating for Julian Assange's human rights tells you something about what Julian Assange has got going on with Russia, with potential being paid to do what he does, etc. This is someone who's broken the law. This is not an advocate and so anytime you hear that coming out, just remember that that he, basically published information that hacked the the DNC. He basically aligned himself with Russia to meddle in the 2016 elections. Given a free rein, he'd probably be doing the same all over the world. Then we have the 2010 putting the troops and investigators, intelligence officers in danger through his leaking. Assange, will he be instrumental in proving collusion? So, of course, if he flips, which I think is what Putin is worried about, we've got Roger Stone's trial, so he could be instrumental. Well, could be. Is he going to be instrumental in adding to the evidence on collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia? Is he going to be instrumental in adding to this collusion conspiracy? Okay, abuse of power. Wow. Abuse of power, the Five of Swords. Straight out off the bat, abuse of power. Okay, so anyone who's defending Assange, as I said, get with the program. Trump the businessman, Trump the smug merchant, etc. Okay, so this is some kind of abuse here. The foundation of the reading is the Hierophant. I do feel that these other investigations, the courts, etc., are going on beyond the Congress. A lot of it is what we can't see. The fact that he was indicted now to the US is showing me the strength of the law enforcement here beyond the political, political fight being waged in the Congress at the moment. This is the courts, this is the law, this is showing the power of the courts and the law, and also the independence of the law and the courts. All right, in the past, this is loss for Assange, of course. He was holed up in the embassy for, 7 years, living almost, I think, without power. They cut off his power, they cut off his internet, etc. Now, what is really hanging over here, over the reading, is the Seven of Pentacles. Now, this is around the harvest, and it's around information that's going to come forward, but it's also around evaluation, re-evaluating, which means that he's going to add in some way to the evidence here. The immediate future, okay, this is, look, dark money. There's three players here. This could be Russia, this could be the US Trump campaign, and WikiLeaks. There's something, I'm glad I used this deck, because in this deck we've got this blackness behind this working together. This is teamwork. Teamwork to prevent disappointment. I'm okay. I just want to stop here. I know this is a long reading, but I do feel it's important. This was the campaign. This is the Trump campaign. When I talked about reevaluation here, it is going to add to the evidence, because what it's going to show is that at some point in the 2016 campaign, there was a reevaluation of Trump's chances of winning, and there was a decision made to achieve a goal. What was that decision made to achieve a goal? It was to hack the DNC and release the emails. Okay, and it's suggesting teamwork between three players: Trump campaign, Julian Assange and WikiLeaks, and Russia. He is going to add to the weight of evidence there around collusion. This is Judge, I think, I'm going to say it, this is Judge Beryl Howe overseeing the Mueller grand jury in DC. That is the focus of the Julian Assange. Where will he go? Interesting. We haven't seen the indictment for him yet, but we'll see where he goes. Will he appear before the Mueller grand jury? The atmosphere around here, okay, this is again Republicans, but in this context, when I'm reading it within context with the other cards, this is the atmosphere around. I do feel that this is generally the push by the country here to try and get to the truth, because it's aspected with how the courts, the law is based upon what the society decides they want as the law. They elect their lawmakers. They put pressure on the lawmakers, and the law evolves as a result of what is in the best interests of everyone. Well, that's how it's supposed to work. Sometimes it doesn't work like that. We've got judgment. Yeah, he's going to come up. He's going to come up before he's going to be indicted. I would like to see that indicted. Well, now, they've arrested him. Has he already been indicted? Okay, so that's the judgment card. He's going to face judgment anyway for his actions. We've got competition. This card is bringing forward infighting, faction fighting, competition, rivalry, obstacles, challenges. I think this is going to be speaking about how Trump has already, well, it speaks to me on a number of levels. Trump is already denying he doesn't know much about WikiLeaks. I think he mentioned WikiLeaks copiously through his campaign, so there's going to be that distancing again from WikiLeaks. There's also potentially now here, this is the problem with Assange, and I just want to mention this in relation to this card. One of the things that Trump said in the news coverage was he didn't know WikiLeaks, doesn't follow WikiLeaks, etc., etc. Yeah. But he did say something that was quite telling, and that was, it'll be up to my Attorney General as to how we deal with Julian Assange. And by the way, he's doing a very, very good job. So watch how Barr handles this. Okay, so we've got a win here at least. There again, all this block. Some people are saying now, some legal scholars are saying that that there is a constitutional crisis. I'm not sure things haven't ground to a halt yet, so I'm not sure that there is in the truest sense of the word. I do feel that the machinations of Congress, the law, are still unfolding, are still turning over, are still going on. And I do feel that is the card that is suggesting that. And just one more clarifier, we've got relocation here moving on. I think in some way, at the end of the day, collusion he's going to contribute to that, and so this will be another piece in the puzzle for Trump. Okay, now we're at 38 minutes. I do want to have a look at, are we getting any more information from the Mueller investigation and its offshoots before the end of April? Particularly, will there be any new indictments? Seems we know that the investigation is ongoing. And also, are those investigators in DC and SDNY and New York, are they independent and safe from the hand of Barr and Trump. I think I'm just going to accept that Barr's energy is like a, it's like one of. I'm trying to think of one of the those African animals. It's not cheetahs, hyenas. It's sort of going to be like that, and that's why it's actually throwing us at the moment. Anyway, let's close this down and we'll look at any more indictments in April, and are those investigations safe? All right, thank you for tuning in. I shall return. Oh, and I'll also upload Biden and Sanders, who, I'll let the reading speak to itself, for itself. But I'll just say that I picked up the energies around both of them a couple of days ago, which could have changed now. But anyway, I'll be back shortly.